You know me, I'm Reba Ferguson, and I'm one of the volunteers for IVC.
Well, and you know me because you saw my name light up on the board over at the office. My name is Rae Cheney, and I live at Finch Place. And I met Reba when I called IVC for some service.
Well, it had been in my mind to volunteer for a while. Robin's a good friend of mine, and I had the time and the space to do it, and some skills of caretaking, and eventually I just heard this little voice that said, call. But when I got you as one of my persons, it was just the best thing, because it became more than helping you do your day-to-day stuff. You and I became friends, and suddenly shopping trips turned into 4-hour extravaganzas and coffee dates, and you've helped me, I feel like, more than I've helped you, truly.
Oh, I appreciate that, and our friendship has developed out of a service that is hard for me really to explain how valuable IVC has been to me, Reba. A neighbor at Finch Place told me about IVC, and I said, what is that? She explained briefly. One evening, a crisis, one of the drivers took me to Paulsbo to have an ultrasound at 6:30, dark and rainy, and I was sick. This kind man driving this beautiful automobile, those are things that just warm my heart. So I continued to call IVC until we met. And now I feel that I have the specialty from you, not only to serve my need for the day, but the friend. And you know, when you live in an apartment complex with all other retired people, you need an outside friend.
Mm-hmm. I've heard you too try to convince other ladies, other people in your building to call IVC and take advantage of the services.
I do that a lot, Reba, and the reason for that is they're lonely, and I know who they are. And it's just my hope that that they can find that there's friends outside of that building. And that's who the IVC volunteers are. They're friends and drivers. That's what I call them. And I just love it when they pull up, and one of my neighbors might be in the window or in the lobby, and I say, oops, there's my driver. Gotta go, there's my driver. And she looks at me, like, how could that be? And for the community, for me, to know that I live in a community where there's a service for all of us.
But the truth is, it helps you and a lot of other people stay independent, in their own apartments that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. And I know it's hard for some people to make that first phone call and say, okay, I need a ride to the doctor's, or I need to go grocery shopping, or this or that, or I need some help around the house. But it's what enables people to be on their own still.
That's true. What you're saying is absolutely true. That it would probably be impossible for me to live there alone without somebody to drive me around, because of the health crisis. I needed to give the keys of my car to my daughter, which it wasn't easy, and be dependent somewhere. Now, it would be a surprise probably to us if there was any way to know what other community where there's that many people available. I know we're supposed to call the day before, and I usually do that. But there's been a time or two when I needed to call the very day, and the people in that office, Rita and Robin, are absolutely more than, I can say dedicated to their position there, and do everything they can to help the caller.
You become a mom as much as a friend to me, so I'm very grateful for our friendship.
At times of loneliness and crisis, and sometimes, and it's happened to me, that our friendship can create and become as close as a family member. And that's what's happened with me for you, Reba, because you could be my third daughter, you know? And I kind of consider that every day. And how often that's happened in my life and how often it could happen to others who pick up the phone and call the office. And the greetings they receive from the office is, what can I do and where do you need to go? And with a real softness. And we always know that they care. In today's society, you know, it's not every day that we do business or associate with people who we don't feel care about us. And as we grow older, that's one of the key things that keep us, you know, satisfied and happy, is to know people in our lives that care about us. I feel absolutely content because of all the services. But when it comes down to a service for me personally, individually, it's IBC and Reba.
Well, and if I hadn't taken the step to call and say, I want to help or I want to volunteer, I would have never, we wouldn't have this, because I knew you from church, or I knew of you, but we didn't, you know, talk beyond an acquaintance level. And well, we've shared a lot and come to find out how much we have in common and what we've been through. And it's, you know, you've just helped me immeasurably.
Well, has there been any surprise to you about being a volunteer in your service as a volunteer? Anything surprised you?
Well, other than gaining more family, you know, I didn't set out to, okay, I think I need to expand my family and I'm going to call and find, I mean, that just wasn't even on my radar. I just thought, I need to help, I've got the time, I should do this. And so it's just been a total gift. You know, there have been times of, well, this has taken longer than I thought, but I never regret, or, you know, it's because I can choose how much I give and who I spend time with. And the great thing is you really can work or volunteer as much as you want to, or as little. You can say no if you want, or you're not free. I mean, there was a time, as you know, last year in my life when I wasn't available, and I had to call you and say, I'm sorry, I can't help for a while, and you understood. And so, I mean, to me, you're a model example of how to live well into your elder years, you know, to not be afraid to ask for help, that it actually helps you to stay independent in your own apartment.
And you know, people that volunteer at IBC have an impact on my life. I totally appreciate everyone.
You've had an impact on my life so much.